Hello, everyone. We are back and we are going to get into our second lab module, an introduction to R. And today we're going to be really focused on working with data sets and how do we filter data, how do we extract data that is useful and important to us. So that is going to be our goal for today's lab activity. So let's go ahead and we are going to jump right into it. And for today, we're going to introduce two kind of critical lab basically packages that we're going to use quite a bit. So we're going to do install dot packages, and then we're going to go tidyverse. Tidyverse has a lot of different functions and packages that are available to us. So you can kind of see it's going to allow us to do a lot of different functions. We're going to read in library tidyverse. You can kind of see here. Control enter there. And then we're going to read in, let's do um, library ggplot2. There's ggplot2. It's already, again, if you haven't installed the package, make sure we do that. And I think that's going to be good for now. So right now we're going to work. So we are actually today going to start with a data set that is built into R, and that is MPG. So MPG, if you type that in, you're going to see that this is an actual data set that's already built into R that we can work with. So we're going to call this car DAT. So that's going to be my car data set. And we can kind of look it up. It's got manufacturers, it's got models, it's got basically cylinders, transmissions, types of drives, city mileage, highway mileage, compact classes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see kind of all the good stuff that's here. So uh, let's go ahead and get started. And if we want to just grab some brief information, so let's say just brief, quick info about data set. I can do summary. I can do card data. And we can do that. And it can give you some of the information here. So manufacturers, character, model. Here it kind of tells you, some of the basically minimum, median, mean of all of your data sets, max if they're not character class, if they're not characters, and it gives you some information about the data set here. So let's go ahead and say, let's say I want to find or I want to filter my data and look at. I want to find my car, which is a Jeep. So I can use the function filter, and then I am going to filter. I need to first inset my data set, which is CarDat, and I'm going to filter by, in my CarDat, the manufacturer, I want to only look at Jeeps. So I only want, in the manufacturer row, I want the rows that are associated with the manufacturer that equals Jeep. So manufacturer, hopefully I spelled that correctly. Manufacturer, U-R-E-R. Manufacturer, set this equal to Jeep. And then control enter. And you can see here, I've got that data set here. I can also filter my data set. So instead of Jeep, I could also just say, I can just call this my, Jeep dat, just for reference. I can keep that. I could also filter it and say, well, how about I want all the classes that are SUV. So I can say my class equals SUV here, and we could do that here. So this will give me SUV dat. So you can filter based on this as well. So this is a super useful function. So it's really 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 nice that you can look at that. I want to introduce here. Maybe this is a bit early, but I want to introduce a really kind of cool function. And I'm going to introduce my pipe function. Pipe function is basically a way where we can, instead of doing, for example, filter CarDat. So like if I'm working with CarDat, I want to then use this function, and and I want to pipe, basically apply, I'm going to filter that based on manufacturer, and you can do double equal to Jeep. And it's going to give me the same essentially data set, but it's a nice way where like I could save essentially typing, and you can it's a little bit nicer and cleaner. So take this car dat and basically pipe it to this function. And I could actually do, for example, let's say my Jeep is not a Grand Cherokee, but let's say I want to filter it further. So let's say I want to filter this set and I only want to grab a 6-cylinder engine. So let's say I only want the Jeeps with 6 cylinders. So I can say, I can pipe this now. So pipe this data set, and then I want to filter again by basically cylinder equals 6. And you can see what we have here. So the pipe function is super, super, super useful. So I just want to introduce that here. So let's say that we want to look at, let's say I want to find or visualize distribution of highway mileage of SUVs. So if I do this, I want to do, so for example, I'm going to do, let's go ahead and we can filter. So I'm going to go ahead and take my car dat, and I'm going to pipe, and I'm going to filter based on class, and this is equal to SUV. So you can have this here. So you can kind of see, okay, we've got those, the SUVs, and this gives me essentially quite a bit of my data set here. So if I want highway mileage, I can also subselect here, but I could actually work with this data set. So let's just say this is my SUV. I'm gonna call it SUV HY dat. So we'll keep this here for now. We can see what we can get. So I can now think about plotting. So one of the things I can do, I could actually do another filter. So let's go ahead and you can actually, just to show and visualize this, you can take this and I could pipe this, and I can go say filter based on that previous data set. Now I want my highway. But then I have to have a highway equal. So you see, I may not want to filter any further, but instead, I've already selected all the SUVs. I want to look just at the distribution. So here, I actually may want to do a function called select. So I'm going to do df select. So let's make sure, and I'm going to select my highway. Oops. So it's saying that it doesn't have this function df select. So where could that be? Well, let's go ahead. Let's look at this in our menu. df select. We can see, we did need to install. So I need to install .packages, and I'm going to install basically our statics. And we're going to do that. And then we're going to bring in the library, our statics. So now we got that. And now we can do this function here and visualize. And look at this. We've got our highway mileage here. So this is fantastic. So I can actually just copy this in, put it here, and then we can work with this now. So I've selected that. Now we want to visualize it. So now I'm going to do ggplot. And then again, I have my data set. So let's just say that my data set is SUV highway dat. You can also do another pipe to this, and we'll actually show that in just a second. But let's just do it kind of our old-fashioned way, which is I've got my ggplot. Here's my data set. I need to look at my AES. So I need to set my x-axis to be equal to my highway, and that's it. And then I can just do plus geom underscore histogram, and we can leave it at that. But we can make it a little bit nicer. So I can say, for example, I'm going to say that I want my bin width to be equal to 2. So I can make it look a little bit prettier. I can look at my color. Color equals blue. I can look at my fill equals blue. Oops, I need to make this blue here. Oh, there you go. I can get this. Oops. Where are you? It doesn't like that. So there we go. What don't you like? Ah, it doesn't like the... Very finicky. There we go. So we can do that. We can add more information here. So I can do theme, and I can do theme underscore test. And then we can do, for example, plus theme, and then I can do, actually up here, I can do axis test, text equals, I'm going to do element underscore text. I'm going to do size is equal to 12, face is going to equal to bold. We're going to do color equals black. We can then do here, we can even do comma, then we can panel dot border equals element. And again, this is just, again, element, not blank, we want rect. Color equals black. Go. Oops. Got this here. We can even do fill equals NA, size equals 2. And again, this is just to visualize and again to get our frame nice and pretty. So I type that in. Again, that's just a lot of searching. This is again my code that I've used that I like. So that's effectively what we're looking at here. So this is a good distribution for my highway models. So what if we tried to do the same thing with instead, what about the Toyota city miles distribution? So we can do something very similar, right? So I can take my, we're going to take, for example, our car DAT, and we're going to pipe, and we're going to filter. So I'm going to filter, and I'm going to say, I want manufacturer, and I need it to be equal to Toyota. We can kind of just look just to make sure we got that. Okay, so that's good, but I want to type again, because I need to select, I need my city miles, so city. So I've got city. I don't have to set this as a variable. I can now just go and pipe. So I'm going to pipe this to ggplot. And all I'd have to do here is just copy this. Copy, paste it in. Oops, what don't you like? What? Ah, highway. There's no highway. There's city. Oops, there's even more. So let's look at essentially the error that we got here. So we've done this. We piped it in. There's an unexpected. So basically, unexpected something somewhere. And theme test. I'm just trying to look. It's usually plots. Yes, that way. It's geome. Where do we have something that it doesn't like? Sometimes it's useful to just see where the error is coming from. So it doesn't like. Set it there now. So it doesn't like. This highway was bad. It's very bad. But there is a city here. Ah! One of the reasons we can't visualize plus geohistogram. geom underscore histogram is here. So this is fine. So again, it's something to do with this. So we can actually just paste in from here. Let's see what we got. There you go. We got it. Again, probably something I just kind of mistakenly, again, didn't copy fully or put in there. But that's it. So here you don't even have to set variables effectively. So you can work with this very nicely. Let's keep going with this data set. We're moving. We're rolling. It's car data. So we can do a box whisker chart as well. Sometimes it's called a box chart. There's lots of different names for it. And I want to do highway mileage of SUVs. And I want to look at in the way that we're going to go about it. Box whisker charts are great for looking at 95% confidence intervals. And we talked about that in class. And it's a really, really good way to kind of quickly get an estimate on effectively getting a nice idea of is your data statistically significant or not. So I'm going to look at my card dat, and we're going to go here, 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 and we're going to go say I want to filter it. So we need to basically card dat. I'm going to pipe. I'm going to filter based on basically my class needs to be equal to SUV. So we can get that. Good. And now we need to, again, we can basically select, actually, here, we can just look at the, actually, because we want to look at the SUV class, and we want to see, effectively, just that in the basically in the SUV class, what is the highway mileage. So what I can do is I can pipe again. I can pipe it, and we can just go directly to ggplot. And I'm going to now, though, I'm going to select my AES, and I'm going to select that on my x-axis. I'm going to have my SUV. SUV will be there. And on my y-axis, I'm going to say my highway. So one of the nice things here is I don't have to kind of df select or sub-select here because I have the data set. Now I'm just specifying in that AES plot here. And I can now go plus geom box plot, and then we can actually see what we got here. Uh-oh. So something is not happy. So let's see. Geom box plot. Something is I do not like. So one of the things is looking at our AES. You may just select this, not specifying X and Y. Ooh, SUV is not. What don't you like about that? You always have to kind of be careful. So we selected SUV, but it's the class. So that's the header there. So my mistake there. So let's just do X equals class. Let's do Y equals highway. There we go. HY. And there you go. Now we got our box plot. So we can add quite a lot of nice little features in here. So we can actually do this as such. I'm going to kind of save the suspense, but I will kind of bring these in here to make it a little bit more readable. Again, I cheated and copied and pasted, but again, I think that everyone will agree for the sake of time, it's well worth it. Let's get this over here. Come on. And no, we don't want. There it is. We can probably do this here. There we go. Let's go ahead and pull this up. I'm just forwarding it, so it's on the screen. Okay, so something is not happy, but it's okay. We just need to do the plus. It's always a plus or minus. And so we have our nice, again, looking plot. So the box plot shows these whiskers. This is the min max, and this is kind of these outlier data sets. This is like your 75th quartile. This is your first quartile. This, I believe, is the median here. So this is a decent a decent plot to work with. But this is not showing us our 95% confidence interval. To do that, we have to go into box plot and we have to do notch, and we have to put equals and then true. The notch will give us, so between where the notch starts and where the notch ends, this is our 95% confidence interval. So when we start comparing to other classes, we can look at that. So for example, let's compare. We can actually do. So we can look, instead of filtering by classes, we can take this, and we can again, this is how to make your plot look pretty, but we can take this and, for example, we can do cardat, and we can do, let's pipe it, and we're going to say filter based on, let's look instead at the highway mileage, and then let's group by classes. So let's do, what's a car that has lots of different classes? Let's do Nissan, or how about, Volkswagen just has, actually Volkswagen has quite a few. So let's go ahead and do filter based on manufacturer. Let's set this equal to, oh, I'm going to butcher this one. Volksy. Okay. I wish this would. Wish this would automatically do it. Okay, so now we're going to pipe this, and we're going to do ggplot, and we're going to do on our x-axis, we're going to have basically, we're going to have classes. So we're going to have class, or let's just set x equals class, y equals, let's say, highway, and then we're going to group by the class. So that's going to help with our plot here. Let's just do geom box plot, and let's do notch equals true. We can see compact, midsize, subcompact. So are there statistically significant differences between any of them? No, it looks like all of them overlap. So you may see when these notches kind of extend, it is just because of the again, the way that it defines the quartile. So again, it's not a super beautiful plot per se. There are definitely some improvements we can make in visualizing this, but for now, this is pretty good. And again, you could add all these other good stuff and colors and different things, a little bit. So let's say you can also effectively filter based on different types of manufacturers. So, for example, box whisker plot, compare city mileage from multiple manufacturers. So we can look at cardat. I'm going to pipe, I'm going to do filter, manufacturer. And if I want to do multiple ones, all I'm going to do is just do a list. So I'm going to do Jeep, let's do Audi, and let's do Toyota. And we can just do kind of a similar thing. So we want to do city mileage. So I can pipe this. I'm going to pipe it, and then we're going to go to ggplot. And I'm going to do AES, set the X value equal to manufacturer. I'm going to set the Y value equal to city, and I'm going to do group equals basically the manufacturer. So I'm going to group by manufacturer. I'm going to do plus geom box plot. I'm going to say notch equal to true. I'm going to enter here. I'm going to do, but first I'm going to do a plus. We can also do, actually before we do that, this one, actually, we can set the colors as well. So I can say, for example, so fill equals to colors, and I'm going to say blue. You can kind of, we'll pop this down here. Blue, red, and then green. So we can do that, and you can add colors like that to your plot. So those are some cool things that you can play around and do as you're kind of looking through these things. So that's effectively kind of our lab for today. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it as. I want to show you one thing before we leave, though. because I think it will be very helpful. Intro R2. Yes, I want to replace. So again, this is a cool way to visualize and see if there's any statistically significant differences. Now, in your lab, you will be looking at a very cool data set involving bees. Bees? If you've ever watched Arrested Development. Bees? Anyways, sorry, I don't want to. But anyways, so I could go ahead and look through my data set. For example, let's go to teaching. Let's say I want to work and I want to import data set here. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And I want to go to, where's our labs? A, B, C, D, F, G, A. All right. Labs, intro to. And so we want to work with this thing called colony. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set my, actually we can probably do it a little bit easier here. So we can take this, we can do some things. I want to set this as my working directory. So I'm just going to, but I'm going to put it in over here, just so that we have it in our code, in our script, I should say. So we can set the working directory, and I can do, I'm going to actually put in here, library, read, Excel. So we can do, for example, or actually we need read.csv, but it doesn't matter. So now I can do, if I want in b.dat, I can do, set this read.csv, and then we can go ahead and take this, we can take this here, and we can just say read CSV, we can do, here we go, backslash colony.csv. I can read that in, and now I've got my B data, and you see the B data has all of that stuff. So it's just a little nicer way to read in effectively your data set. Set your working directory, and you can read that in. You may be able to even do just this, but let's see if this works. That'll even work as well. So that's even that's an even finer way of doing it. So I just want to show that trick just to make sure, make your life a little bit easier, and then we'll be ready to roll. So see you all in the next video. See you in lab. Get ready to plot some bee data. Bees? There you go. I'll see you in the next video.